Cheers. What is it? Friday? Friday the 13th. Just realised that. Shit. 23 years ago, that was not a fun date. Yes, I know, that's 2 days after the event where all Muslims should be dead. Unfortunately, they attacked America. Right, let's move on from that. That was not the point of this video. This video is to do with testing in various countries. I'm watching Tasty Classics, a really amusing guy. Obviously not a professional mechanic, but quite skilled. No denying it. And he's getting there. And he's talking about the various things he needs to do to get his vehicle through an MOT. Also watching Church House Classics. Again, he's working on another vehicle where he is trying to get it ready to pass an MOT. Now, I'm, as you can tell, English, and I remember going through the MOT tests. Then I have a friend in Austria. Now, in Austria, they are even stricter than they are in the UK, from what I understand. And I'd love your guys' input, because each country is different. And I live in America, and each state is different. So the guy on Tasty Classics, he keeps talking about MOT in a can. And to me, that's Schutz. He calls it Schultz, which is the character from, oh crap, what was the series called? Hogan's Heroes. Hey, Mr. Tasty Classics, I know you probably don't watch my videos, but somebody else that does, tell him, please, it's not Schultz, it's Schutz. That's what it's called. And it covers up a multitude of sins. I don't think you get away with that in Austria. I don't know. Dave, let me know. Over here in Arizona, where I live, we have another thing. It's not called MOT in a can, for obvious reasons, because it's America. It's called Guaranteed to Pass. Emissions. That's where I live in Arizona. That's all they care about. This is how dumb they are. And I'm sorry, I love this country dearly, but their vehicle testing is a joke. When I take my vehicles to be tested, there's another joke, but we'll get into that in a minute. When I take my vehicle to be tested, they make sure the check engine light is not on. They make sure I haven't just sat outside and cleared it. So in other words, a certain amount of miles need to have been covered prior to the check engine light being there, if it was there. So they look, they make you turn the car off, turn it on, turn it off, and they check to see if the check engine light is on. If it's not, then they plug in their little plug, the OBD, and they take out your gas cap and make sure that's not leaking. Depending on the vehicle, sometimes they'll stick something up its bottom and see what its emissions are. And as long as you get through those tests, you're golden. And I think it's like $20-ish to have that test done. And if you fail, you can get it fixed and go back within, I don't know, I think it's 2 weeks, something like that. And if you go back within 2 weeks, then it doesn't cost you any extra. Ironically, a recent customer of mine, well, he's still a customer, he went recently, God, if my teeth would work, it'll help. He went recently to get his vehicle inspected. Now, I'd had his vehicle here to change the alternator. To change the alternator, you have to disconnect the battery. And even though I put my saver in, with this special snap-on thing that I've got that saves radio stations, etc., it still tells the computer you've disconnected the battery. And by doing so, that will wipe any codes. Gone, done, dusted. So I said, look, before you go for an inspection, because he's just got the car and he needed to get inspected, I said, before you go for an inspection, you've got to drive at least 150 miles. and then that will go through the cycle, and the sorry, old habits. The inspection station will say, okay, great, the check engine light is not on, you have completed the irrelevant cycles, so therefore, bingo, here's your pass. However, he went there, and it was with a Jaguar S-Type R, and he got there, there's no check engine light, he'd driven over 150 miles, everything was absolutely hunky-dory. When the guy plugged in his OBD connector, the connector may or may not have moved, and as soon as he did that, bingo, the check engine light came on. Now, my customer was then told, sorry, fail, get out of here, come back. So my customer went home, and he has a tool, like I do, a diagnostic tool, and he plugged it in, and it was 6 different errors to do with transmission and all sorts of things which weren't there. So he erased them, of course, why wouldn't you? And then went off for a drive, and he called me and said, hey, what do I need to do to get through the inspection this time? I said, well, it sounds like when they plugged the plug in, maybe the plug moved, maybe their tool is so fucking dirty, so make sure the connection is okay, spray some cleaner in there, plug it in, make sure everything's okay, and then there's no reason it should fail. Now, I did say to him, look, if it had been me, I'd have probably jumped up and down and said, what the fuck? Come on, it had no check engine light on until you plugged your piece of crap in. But of course, as it's a government official, it wouldn't have done any good. All it would have done for me if it was my car was get it off my chest. Maybe I should bite my tongue a little more and say, excuse me, it was okay when I came in. It wasn't until you plugged in your equipment that it failed. Surely there's a problem with your equipment, or maybe you didn't have it plugged in properly, which, again, all the statements are true, but with the check engine light on, the poorly written computer software wouldn't probably, and I don't know this for a fact, probably wouldn't allow him to override the fact that the check engine light had actually come on because the connection wasn't made properly by the representative. So now he is taking it for another 150 mile drive. He's making sure the connection's okay. He's cleaning the terminals, and he'll go back. So it wastes his time for a minor fault, which, okay, in fairness, maybe if the connection had moved, was his fault. But, well, it's not his fault, it just happens. But the person that was doing the testing should have been able to override and say, no, it was clear. He took it back, and it passed with flying colours, of course, because I'd worked on it. All right. Guys, various countries, I believe, watch my channel. So, Dave in Austria, love to hear your comments on the inspections. Anybody in the UK, Tish, I believe you are one of the guys. Glasgow News, a number of people who watch my channel, please comment on the experiences you have and the restrictions and what you have to deal with to allow you to drive your vehicle on the road. And I don't talk about these electric ones because they're crap, and who cares whether they're on the road? Nobody. This is it's a bugbear, isn't it? Ooh, not quite sure how I want to word this. I was watching Church House Classics. He is making a Land Rover Discovery, I think it is, ready for the road. Now, I can't tell you how old the vehicle is, I can't remember, don't know, don't care. But it's old. So he's fixing it. He's welding up and he's putting in new things that are needed, you know, bushes, blah, 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 blah. And that's a great way of recycling. With a crappy Tesla, the only recycling you do is to crush it. Then you're left with these batteries that can't be recycled. How good is that for the environment? Okay, I went off on a tangent there and I shouldn't have done, but I did, and oh well, fuck it. Leave your comments, guys. Please do at least, you know, click, you know, I like, or this guy talks crap, or something. It helps me algorithms, but then again, if you think I talk crap, you probably don't want to help me. And there goes my fucking phone again. Every fucking time. Ah! Now, children, get out in the garage, go do some shit.